Today is Wednesday, September 23rd, 2020, and today I'm thinking about how Jesus cannot be hid. Just for some context, I want to look at the verse that's right before where Jesus cast the devil out of the woman's daughter, the one who he tells, "It is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it unto the dogs." So I want to look at Mark chapter 7, verse 24. And from thence he arose and went into the borders of Tyre and Sidon and entered into a house, and would have no man know it, but he could not be hid. So more than once, just to give you another instance, Jesus would heal somebody and tell them, don't tell anybody about it, just go to the temple and pay your dues. But word would spread. And Jesus was constantly surrounded by huge groups of people wanting to be healed by Jesus. And so here is an instance where Jesus goes into some border town, into some nondescript house, I'm assuming, and even then, he could not be hid. This woman came and wanted her daughter to be healed. And I think that might also give us additional context on why it seemed like they were kind of annoyed at this woman. Maybe it's like they could never get any rest. No matter where they went to, they could go to some border town and go into some nondescript house, and people would still know that Jesus was there. He could not be hid. And so this just reminds me of how it's the obvious answer. And it always feels weird to say stuff like Christianity is the obvious answer because, yeah, that's true, but it's just that modern day, it's not what you're going to find in a church today. It's all about Jesus Christ. You have to read the Bible for yourself. You don't need a middleman. You have to reject these earthly institutions, and you have to read the Bible for yourself and have a personal relationship with Jesus. And yeah, he cannot be hid. There's a reason that's like the obvious answer. I can just say for myself personally, I used to be agnostic, and I knew, so agnosticism, you're kind of sitting on the fence. On the one side was, okay, maybe there is no God, which it only made sense to me when my head was still in NASA Outer Space Land. So the other side of the fence, though, was Christianity to me. It wasn't like, okay, now I believe that there's a God, let me go be a Buddhist. That wasn't an option. Or anything else wasn't an option. I just knew for myself that when I was convinced on the side of God existing, I knew that Christianity was the right answer, even though I still knew that I wasn't going to find it in a modern day church. I was unlikely to. And that's why it's like when you're looking in your pantry for something and you can't find it because it's right in front of your face. It's the obvious answer. God is not going to make salvation this super obscure, difficult thing to find. And that's why I always get annoyed when super edgy atheists will say something like, oh, you believe in God? Which one? And then they'll say, like, there are thousands of religions or whatever. Okay, nobody really believes in Odin. Nobody really believes in blue Hindu things or cow gods or, lowercase g. Nobody believes in that stuff, but people know that Jesus Christ is real, and that's why he's the one that everybody knows and everybody talks about. They make movies, blasphemous movies called Jesus Christ Superstar. When you take English classes, you know how in English class they'll tell you how almost every book basically has like a Jesus story involved in it. You don't hear about every book having some sort of Buddha character, and there are just so many examples. That's what this video is about, really, how Jesus cannot be hid. I was just watching, well, not because I wanted to. My wife watches Gilmore Girls, and there was just this line in the show. And this will be basically every show will blaspheme Jesus at least once. So anyways, in this show, the mom tells the daughter, we got to talk about the J word. And the daughter's response was talking about Jesus. She said something blaspheming Jesus, of course, but it just goes to show you that he cannot be hid. And there, just for more examples, when you're on an airplane and you start hitting a bunch of turbulence, where do you think people's minds go? Do you think that they start asking Odin for help? When you're hitting a bunch of turbulence, Do you think that people decide to become a Buddhist all of a sudden? And I bet you 9 times out of 10, those people go straight to Jesus. Even people that are not religious. So for a while, I was getting kicks watching like recordings of people on this crazy carnival slingshot ride. And so many of them would cry out to Jesus. And I never once heard anybody cry out to any lowercase g anything. Because people know about Jesus. They know that his name has so much power too. And I guess that's one other thing that I want to say. I just had this weird thought. Like, let's say you walk into a room, and what is the one way that you can just get people's emotions going craziest by telling this room one thing? And I think that's if you walked into a room and you told them that we're going to talk about Jesus, just imagine people, like what people feel inside of them compared to if you basically said any other thing. You walk into a room, we're going to talk about giraffes today. That doesn't really emotionally affect anybody. But imagine going into a room and telling people, okay, today we're talking about Jesus Christ. Now just to feel the emotions in that room. And it's just one of those ways he cannot be hid. Nobody can hide from Jesus. And yeah, I know that there's more examples that I can say. Oh, one more. A few more. You know, on helicopters, what they call there's one bolt or nut, I don't know exactly what it is, but there's this one really important piece that keeps that huge spinning blade on. And they name it after Jesus. They call it the Jesus nut or the Jesus bolt. I don't know exactly what it is. And it's just another example. When people talk about Jesus take the wheel, and it's because he's the truth. Nobody would be talking this much about him. And seriously, the TV, you cannot watch the TV for more than like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. People are blaspheming Jesus left and right. It wouldn't make sense for these people to be blaspheming something that doesn't exist. And the reason that they get so angry and that they're blaspheming Jesus all the time is because Jesus is the truth. He cannot be hid. People are always thinking about him. It's the number one thing that people think of when they think of religion. When people bash religion, they're almost always specifically bashing Christianity. And it's because it's the right answer. It's the one that is right in front of everybody. And for me, there's just always been a part of me that knew that, okay, if God is real, this is it. It's Christianity. So that's just been, and I guess you could say that that's faith, but part of religion is faith. So I'm okay with that. Hope you enjoyed the video. God bless everyone.